Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to paint these beautiful iridescent bubbles in watercolor. And if you would like to paint this entire tutorial from start to finish, that is included inside of my membership called Windswept Watercolor Club. You will also get the printable outline that comes with this project, as well as access to all of the tutorials that are inside the club for as long as you are a paid member. So I will leave a link down below in the description of this video if you would like to learn more. But for now, let's get started painting these fun bubbles. We are going to paint those beautiful iridescent bubbles around our little puppy here. And here is a practice that I was practicing some bubbles. The really important part to painting bubbles is making sure that we keep it lighter than we think when it comes to the color. So I will walk through how we can do this. There's a couple different ways. I found some ways that I enjoy doing the bubbles the best. So like I said, depending on your paper, the outcome of your bubbles might be different. And don't get discouraged or frustrated. Simply just have fun with this and just try to keep your bubbles as light and airy as you can with just some really fun pops of color. So as I showed here in the example, we're going to be working in a variety of blues and yellows and pinks or purples that you have. I'm going to use my larger size 5, and I still have that nice point to it. Okay, so what we'll do is just take some water, get your brush nice and wet, and let's just start. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to start with a bubble. Let's just start with one that's right here next to our dog, and I'm going to get it pretty wet. We want to cover the bubble pretty much in all water, except for I'm going to leave a little bit of white of the paper. You'll see like right here is a good example. Just leave some little flecks of white of the paper that's not covered up in water. And I know this is difficult to see, so it's no big deal if you end up painting it all with water. Just go ahead and lay down a little bit of a wash. So when it comes to blues, see, I think it is a little easier if I show this on video because the light kind of shines on the water. Okay, so when it comes to blues, I have a few blues that I'll be using. I have a Winsor blue, which is that green shade. It's got a nice turquoise. It's super, super pretty. It's that nice turquoisey looking blue here. I also have a French ultramarine. If you have an ultramarine, that's great. I like mixing the two different blues. That'll be what we'll use for the blues. And then any types of yellows. Here I have like a Winsor lemon or a cadmium free yellow, just something that's in the medium to bright yellow. And then over here I have my permanent rose, that's a pink, or if you have a purple, this is a mauve by Winsor and Newton Cotman. Those are the colors that I'll be playing with today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started while this is still wet. I am going to grab the Winsor blue. So something that's just a little bit brighter, turquoisey, sky-like blue. So I have a good amount of paint on my brush, but what I'm going to do is use very little pressure and run my brush right along the edge of our bubble. So try our best to make it a nice rounded edge. Okay, something like that. As you can see, it's going to do some fun things dropping it in on the wet paper. Great. So there's our blue. So I'm just going to do this with one bubble, and then we can work on multiple bubbles as we get one down. So now I'll go ahead and get rid of all of that blue paint off my brush, and I'm going to pick up, let's do a pink. So here I have my permanent rose. You could use a red, you could do a purple, and I'm just going to simply drop in some pink like that. So I know this looks kind of crazy so far, but I promise we are going to kind of clean it up and soften it. And then here I have I'm going to use, let's see, the cadmium free yellow. It's not quite as bright. And I'll just drop some of that in. And then I'll leave the center of my bubble white of the paper. Okay, so again, here is what I have so far, which looks fun, but it's a little too dark. So what I'm going to do while my bubble is still wet is get rid of all of that paint on my brush and even kind of dab it so I don't have so much water on my brush either. And then we are going to run our brush through this color to pick it up. And maybe I'll leave some pieces of color that are really bright, but we just want to clean up and make sure our bubble isn't quite so dark in color. See how that really gave it more of that iridescent feel? And then you can always go back and drop in more color if you feel like you want to add in some more like design. You know how it does that little swirl and like a soap does? So that is what we're going for. Okay, great. So another great blue to add in is the French ultramarine blue. And I like mixing these two blues. It just gives it one more added piece of interest to this bubble. Can you kind of see how that brought in another blue color there? Okay, great. So that is really the bubble concept in a nutshell. And again, use either a separate brush or your clean brush and go through and pick up or lift that paint if it feels too dark. You really just want to keep the blue mostly on an edge and let it play in a few other little areas like that. All right, and you can add some green into your bubbles, bringing in some of that green from our ground, or it could be reflecting through in the background. So let's go ahead and continue. Now, one last thing, if you wanted to add in some more shine details into the bubbles, I would use the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, which again is that wonderful white opaque paint to overlap our watercolor. So go ahead and put some on a small pointed tip brush that you have. And you can use that to really add in some shine, especially running it along the edge, kind of the inside edge of a bubble. That helps kind of bring it around in a circle almost. So you could add some shines there. Here's another one I could add in down here. I could add in like little dots into my bubbles, like in the center, and you can just see how that can bring in that rounded shape in a new way. So feel free to add in more details like this if you have your white paint or even a gel pen on hand. You could draw those back in, little white shines like that. But okay, I think that does it for this tutorial. I hope you had so much fun painting along. And if you would like to watch this entire tutorial from start to finish, including how to paint the dog, and then also get the outline that comes with this project, this is all included inside of my Windswept Watercolor Club, which is my monthly painting membership. Go on down to the description. I will leave a link for more details on how you can join and so that you can paint this entire tutorial from start to finish. I cannot wait to paint with you in a future tutorial.